The Wizard of Oz. Many years ago, in a place called Kansas, a little girl called Dorothy lived with her aunt, uncle, and their dog Toto. One day, Dorothy was playing outside in the garden with Toto when the sky suddenly darkened. The wind began to blow, thunder clattered, and lightning flashed. It was a cyclone. "Aunt! Uncle!" cried Dorothy loudly, but there was no reply. Dorothy ran inside and hid herself in her room together with Toto. The wind was blowing so strongly that it pulled the house from the ground and sent it up into the sky, flying round and round until finally the strong wind began to subside and the house came crashing back down to the ground. Cautiously, Dorothy and Toto opened the front door. The air was calm now and the sky was bright, but Dorothy could see immediately that they were no longer in Kansas. They were surrounded by bright green grass and tiny little houses. There was also a long path made out of yellow bricks. "Hello, child," said a warm voice. Dorothy startled and turned to see a kindly-looking lady with long fair hair and wearing a dusty pink dress and a silver crown upon her head. She introduced herself as the Good Witch. "Where am I?" asked Dorothy nervously. "This is the land of Oz," answered the Good Witch. "Thank you for killing the Wicked Witch." "Oh, I'm afraid there must be some mistake," replied Dorothy. "I haven't killed anybody, and I've never even heard of the Wicked Witch." The Good Witch turned and pointed to where a pair of legs in stripy tights and sparkly red shoes lay underneath Dorothy's house. She explained how the house had landed on the Wicked Witch and killed her. "It's quite all right," said the Good Witch, upon noticing the shock on Dorothy's face. "The Wicked Witch was a terribly bad person, and you've done a favour to us all by landing your house on top of her. Now she can cause no more harm. Please do not be afraid." She pointed to the ruby red slippers and explained that they now belonged to Dorothy. "They're magic slippers," she said. Dorothy had no interest whatsoever in magic slippers. All she wanted was to get back home to Kansas with her aunt and uncle. She longed to feel safe again. "How do I get home?" she asked the Good Witch. "Follow the yellow brick road to the Emerald City," answered the Good Witch. "When you get there, ask to see the wizard. He'll be able to get you back home." Dorothy and Toto set off along the yellow brick road in search of the wizard's palace. After some time, Dorothy heard a voice speak out. "I say, hello there," said the voice. Dorothy looked around. She could see nobody around and had no idea where the voice could be coming from. "I said, hello there," said the voice again. Dorothy turned and saw a Scarecrow standing in a cornfield by the side of the road. Surely the Scarecrow could not be talking to her. She'd never in her life heard of a talking Scarecrow. Yet there was nobody else around. "Hi," came the voice again, and this time Dorothy saw the Scarecrow's lips move. "It's so terribly uncomfortable on this pole. Would you please help me down?" Dorothy could hardly believe it. The Scarecrow could talk. Hurriedly, she helped him down from his pole. "Thanks," said the Scarecrow. "Where are you going?" Dorothy hurriedly explained about the cyclone and the floating house and how she'd landed on the Wicked Witch. "I'm off to find the Wizard of Oz," she explained. "He'll be able to help me get home." "Well, if he can help you get home, maybe he can give me a brain," answered the Scarecrow. "I'd love to be a great thinker, but have only straw in my head. I would love to have a brain. Maybe I'll join you on your trip to Oz." Dorothy said that of course he could come along with her to the Emerald City and look for the wizard. So the two of them carried on along the yellow brick road, with Toto running along behind them. They hadn't gone much further when they heard a loud clanking noise. It was a rusty old tin man who was standing by the side of the road. He was unable to walk as his joints were so rusty. Dorothy took a little can and added some drops of oil to the tin man's mouth so that he could speak. "Thank you," exclaimed the tin man. "I'm so rusty because I've been unable to stop crying. You see, I'm so sad because I have no heart. I would do anything to have a heart." Dorothy quickly added more oil to the poor tin man's joints so that the creaking and clanking would stop and he would be able to move more easily. She told him all about their trip to the Emerald City in search of the wizard, who would be able to send her home and give the Scarecrow a brain. "Well," said the Tin Man, "if the wizard can send you home and he can find a brain for the Scarecrow, then I'm sure he must be able to give me a heart." "You're right," answered Dorothy. "I'm sure the Wizard of Oz will be able to do that for you. You must come along with us." The Tin Man joined Dorothy, Toto and the Scarecrow, and they continued down the yellow brick road. As they walked further, they heard a whimpering sound. They looked and saw a lion curled up into a little ball. The lion was trembling with fear. "My goodness!" exclaimed Dorothy. "What has happened to you?" A mouse," answered the lion. "A mouse bit me on my tail and I'm too afraid to fight back." "Oh dear," said Dorothy. "It seems to me, dear lion, that what you need is a little bit of courage. We're on our way to the Emerald City to find the Wizard of Oz. Why don't you come with us? I'm sure that he could find some courage for you." She hurriedly explained about her wish to go home to Kansas, the Scarecrow's need for a brain, and the Tin Man's wish for a heart. "I'll join you," said the lion, and the four friends continued their journey. Little did they know, but they were being watched. Dorothy didn't realise this, but her house had landed on top of the Wicked Witch of the East. But the Wicked Witch of the East had a sister, the Wicked Witch of the West, and she was furious that Dorothy had killed her sister. She also wanted her sister's ruby slippers back. Through her magical crystal ball, she watched Dorothy and her new friends make their way towards the Emerald City. She called for her flying monkey soldiers to capture Dorothy. Meanwhile, Dorothy and her friends came across a field of poppies. In the middle was a large tree. The tree's roots reached out and tangled everyone except for the Tin Man. The Tin Man was brave and quickly lashed out with the powerful axe that he was carrying. He hacked and chopped at the strong tree roots and soon managed to free his companions. After crossing the field, the group came to a wide river. There was no boat in which to climb, and the water was quite rough. "Climb onto my back," ordered the Scarecrow. "I am made of straw and wood and can float. I'll get you across the river." The others did as the Scarecrow said and jumped onto his back. It wasn't easy to say the least, but eventually they all made it across the river and reached Emerald City. They were just heading to the palace when a group of the Wicked Witch's flying monkeys flew at them and surrounded them. They had nowhere to escape. The monkeys captured them and flew them to the Wicked Witch, dropping them at her feet. The Scarecrow noticed that the Wicked Witch was wearing a small vial attached to a chain around her neck. The witch shook angrily. "You!" she screamed at Dorothy. "You killed my sister! I'll make you pay for that! Give me back those ruby slippers!" Dorothy did not want to give anything to the Wicked Witch, so when the witch lunged forwards at her, Dorothy fought back as bravely as she could. She managed to pull herself away from the witch's grasp. She picked up a nearby bucket to defend herself. The bucket was heavy with water, so Dorothy threw it over the witch. Suddenly, the witch began to cry and groan. The water was making her melt and disappear. Soon she was nothing more than a puddle on the floor. Only the necklace and the vial remained. Out of the vial popped the Wizard of Oz himself. The wizard thanked Dorothy profusely for saving him and ridding Oz of yet another wicked witch. He was so grateful that he promised to grant them any wish they desired. The Scarecrow got his brain, the Tin Man got his heart, and the lion was rewarded with courage. When Dorothy asked to go home, the wizard told her that he could not help her. He explained that Dorothy held the power in the ruby red shoes. All she needed to do was wear the shoes and click her heels together 3 times to be taken anywhere she wished. It was time for Dorothy and Toto to leave. She said a tearful goodbye to her new friends and clicked the shoes together as she'd been told. Immediately she found herself back in Kansas with her aunt and uncle in their cosy home, as if none of this adventure had ever happened. Dorothy was delighted to be home, but knew that she would never forget the new friends that she had made in Oz.